Hey guys, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Since I'm back from vacation, it is time for Pros and Cons Episode 8, and if you can see from the title, it is Episode 8, Armorknights. Armorknights is a very, very good deck in Danger World, one of only the two archetypes as of now. And one disclaimer for the video, since this is before EBO2, I cannot, and I'm sorry, I cannot use cards from the new set that are revealed. The set isn't out, so I cannot count those cards, such as the Demonic Slash cards that we might have seen as of now this video, or anything else such as Fang Dragon Declaration and other things. Phoenix Wall being a semi nullifier. I cannot use those cards because the deck does not have these cards at the moment. Even if you can use it on a simulator or something, these cards are not in the TCG as of this moment, so I cannot count those cards. I'm sorry, but I have to go with current Armorknight cards as of set 3 and below. But nothing came in set 3, but I'm just saying. So, Armorknights is a Danger World, which I have not covered, which is pretty weird, but I'm glad that I get to cover at least one Danger World deck right now. Armorknights is an absolutely weird deck to think of because it's not as of used because of Danger World's low amount of support. There could be so many jokes and shiz about how much Danger World doesn't have support, but we're not about the support, we're about pros and cons here. So let's get on to pros and cons. Alright, so starting off the pros, we have Armorknight Formation. Now, this is a good set spell option. If you don't know, you pay 1 gauge and then you set it. And you only have to pay the 1 gauge to set it, because some people get confused on that. Just to set it, you pay 1 gauge. You don't have to continuously pay 1 gauge every turn. But permanently, while it's on the field, you give 1,000, 1,000 to all Armorknight monsters. So pretty much, your monsters get a really decent boost for just a count of 1 gauge, which you don't really use often in the deck, other than your boss monster or even like Wall Lizard. So you're not really using that gauge for anything else, so might as well play this card. First of all, it's a good meta call because with Cerberus being in the deck, you can bump a Cerberus up to 6,000, which is pretty threatening if you're going against Dungeon Mix. And you can put Soul Guard on Cerberus if you put an Armorknight into his size 1 or less into his soul. So that's really good. And then also you can bump up a Demon to 9,000 defense. I'll get on to Demon later. But you can bump up lots of your monsters to a good amount of defense. Freaking Hellhound can become 7,000 defense. That's really, really good. Speaking of Hellhound, I have to talk about the Danger World's next pro. Really good stats. I have to admit this completely. Great stats. Danger World in general has the best stats I've even seen on most worlds. Like, you have Armorknight Cerberus, 525, completely free. You have Armorknight Medusa, 524, Penetrate, and it's completely free. You have freaking Chimera, who's 627, completely free. Freaking Griffin, 732, completely free. You have Hellhound, 516, 6,000 defense, completely fucking free. All these are fucking free monsters. You can just bring these out on field. 523 Ogre, fucking free. I am so sorry that I'm cursing, but this is absolutely insane. Danger World has the most powerful stats you can see on monsters in general. They have really, really good stats. I'm not even just discrediting Dual Dragons or even whatever freaking shit might come in EBO2, but Danger World has so many monsters with good stats. It's just astonishing to me. So, but we have to get on to the biggest con of the deck. I'll start that off first. Only 4 nullifiers. What I mean by 4 nullifiers, it's not like you have 4 different cards. I mean, you have 1 fucking card that's your nullifier. And it's only Battle Aura Circle as of this moment. Phoenix Wall may come out, but I cannot count that, like I said. Battle Aura Circle is simply, if you don't have another monster in the center, negate an attack. Not bad. Not bad at all. But here's the problem with it. It's your only way of defense. Outside of putting a monster in the center, you're fucking screwed. You're going to take every single piece of damage. I'm going against Dungeon Mix? Okay. Link for 4 with Tetsuya. Okay, you can't block that because you don't have your 1 nullifier that you can only have 4 of in your deck. Okay. Let me restand and do 3. Oh, look. You took 7 damage. You're at 3. Oh, I have 2 gauge. Dead and crush. You can lose in a turn. Completely because your nullifier could not be in your hand. That sucks. I mean, that could happen to any deck. But at least some decks have either 12 to 8 nullifiers by now. Danger World still only has 1 at this moment. So, what are you going to do? Nothing. Nada. You can't do shit. You have to learn how to nullify pretty well. You have to know which attacks you need to nullify, even if it comes to damage or dealing with saving one of your monsters. I kind of want to say that there's not much when you come to saving monsters, but that's completely preferable if you play Battle Spirit Unite or not. Another pro I really like about this deck, good size 0 options. You have Armorknight Eagle, 4,000 power on a size 0. 1 crit, 1,000 defense. Who gives a shit about the rest of that? 4,000 power. You know what that means? Armorknight formation. 5k size 0. 5k. That hits a lot of things. That's so powerful. A 4,000 isn't even bad. It's size 0 with 4,000. And then I don't even get on to Armorknight Tiger. He's pretty much Mama Shiba Cobalt, but with 1 less 1,000 defense. But that doesn't mean shit, because it's 2 crit. 1, 2, 1. 2 crit. I honestly don't think Tiger's that good because 1,000 power, and the same thing with Cobalt, so I don't really like either of them that much, but it's just because they have 2 crit, that's why they're good size 0 options. Either way, size 0s are really good in this deck. I mean, Wisp is another option, but we don't talk about Wisp. Wisp is a piece of shit. But these two are your best options, and they're absolutely amazing. Especially if you combo them with Cerberus ability, launching them off. So, they have good monster move like that, but I have to say this. The deck has absolutely no fucking counter monster removal. That is upsetting. Now, I know there is a demonic slash that was revealed in episode 33 or 30. It was 33, I'm pretty sure. That Rauga used. But we don't know what the card does and all that shit. And like I said, it comes in EVO 2. I cannot count that. But as of now, there is not a single counter removal in the entire Danger World archetype. The only way to get rid of an opponent's monster is by attacking it, or they run it into a Battle Spirit Unite when you have a weapon out. I'll get onto the weapon problem later. But it has no way of stopping attacks from monsters by removing them. You have to just nullify it, or just take the damage, or let your monsters die. You have very little options when it comes to what you can do during your opponent's turn. There is no Dragonic Thunder of the deck yet. There is no, Thunder Devastation only works you can only use it during your turn. It costs you 2 gauge. You can play 1 gauge and use Crimson Slash, but you can only do it your turn. See the problem here? You can't do shit unless it's your turn. You have to try and defend yourself as best as you can while your opponent is allowed to do what the fuck they want to your field. This is a problem with the deck, but it's honestly able to deal with it because of all these good stat monsters. You either can keep them on field because they'll probably not bother with them, or you can keep a good something in center and then they have to link attack it, which will waste them a turn, which is a really good thing, but it's not as prominent because of the meta decks and shit and all that fucking crap. But another great thing about this deck is penetration is high! Oh, what is penetrate, everyone? You all fucking know this if you play the game. Penetrate, if your opponent has a monster in the center, and you have a monster with penetrate, they take the damage equal to your crit. And it adds up if you link attacks with another card with penetrate. So, you know what that means? Double penetration. This is a card game. Keep that R-rated shit out of here. But double penetration is a thing that is very fucking prominent in Danger World. You have Armorknight Medusa. You have Hysteric Spear, and then if you really run the hybrid shit, you can play Diatlas and crap and all that fucking shit. But you can penetrate. Oh, and then I'll get on to Armorknight Ifrit later. Oh my Jesus, but fucking double penetration is single-handedly probably the best thing this deck has to offer other than its really good damage output, which I'll say later. Anyway, penetration is so high. Your main weapon has penetrate. One of your main size 2s has penetrate. You can easily go for double penetration, and its only cost is 2 gauge because that's how much Aesthetic Spear costs. And Medusa's free. So 4 damage to your opponent for free, and you kill their center monster. And it's a 10,000 leak attack, so lots of things can't defend against that. Whoa! That's powerful. You have a really good chance of penetrating your opponent, which makes opponents scared to put anything in the center against a Danger Roll matchup, which is a very good thing to play mind games with your opponent. But a small problem with the deck is the lack of a good impact. I'll be dreadfully honest. When I had Armorknights, and I'm sorry I got rid of that. Danger Roll is not my preference. Anyway, that aside, Drill Bunker sucks dick. Drill Bunker is awful. It costs you 2 gauge, which is pretty good. Pretty good for the impact. But you have to have a standing weapon. So it means you can't attack with your weapon during the attack phase if you want to use this. You give your weapon 5,000 power. Or was it 4,000? I'm pretty sure it's 4,000 power. 2 crit and penetrate. So if you're playing something like Aesthetic Spear, so we can give 4,000 power to it. It has 9,000 attack now. You give it 2 crit. Now that's 4 crit now. It already has penetrate, so the other part's not needed. So you attack with it now, when you could have just done it in the fucking battle phase. And then your opponent can still fucking nullify it unless they have something in the center. And if it's Dungeon World, it's just going to shout Sauna that. But as an endgame card, this is pretty situational. One, it's like Gargantua, because you're paying 2 gauge for your weapon, the most prominent one, Aesthetic Spear, and then you're paying 2 gauge for this. So, you're kind of playing 4 gauge. Great damage output. Great fucking damage output. You know what the only monster with 1 crit is? Hellhound. And you know what everything else has? 2 and above. 2 and fucking above. That is amazing. None of your viable size 2s have 2 crit. 1 crit. Like, your size 0, you can have a 2 crit size 0. You have, even Eagle may have 1 crit, but that's literally only 2 monsters in your deck with 1 crit. Everything else, fucking 2 and above. That's fucking awesome. You have so much damage on board, your opponent is practically bound to, like, take all these attacks. Because they can't keep up with all this fucking damage on board that can lead them to losing the game. Which is absolutely insane. Danger Roll has a lot of good shit to offer. It just doesn't have what I would call a good defense. But one of the pros is technically a good defense. But what I mean by good is it can do something without the nullifier when you do have no nullifiers. What I mean by this, you can summon either Chimera in the center and then you have a 7,000 wall or 8,000 or however 1,000 more. Now, if you have multiple formations, you can even get, if you play 3 formations, you get 10,000 defense. Either way, all I'm saying is the Chimera is free. Then you can Armorknight formation and have an 8,000 wall. Or just have a 7,000 wall without formation, which is absolutely insane. And it still has 2 crit and 6,000 power, which makes it absolutely a really good defensive play. And then also you have Wall Lizard. If you don't know what Wall Lizard is, it's a 3/3/3 size 2. Now, those stats do sound decent at best, but it's the ability that makes this card really great. You can, when your opponent declares an attack, you can send it to the drop zone, and then the next time you take damage, it will go to, the damage will be reduced by 2. Now the thing about this is, it absolutely is a pseudo nullifier, which costs 1 gauge because it has a call cost to pay 1 gauge. What this means is, you put this card in the center, and then if your opponent attacks it, which they'll probably have to if they want to get to you. Now think about this: you're facing a mirror match. They're trying to penetrate you. You can do this. They attack Wall Lizard. Try and go for penetration. You use the ability, you'll get it out of the way. Since the target is gone, because you use its ability to send it to the drop, that entire attack they just did is basically nullified. And then now, the next attack they could do is reduced by 2 damage. So, 2 damage they do, the 2 damage they try and do, it's basically nullified, gone. Didn't happen to you. So you can stop 2 attacks and then do 3 with him. That's great. That's a good way of defending yourself. Your size 2s allow you to defend yourself. But let's get off of the size 2s. Let's talk about the size 3s. Oh my god. There's a multitude of size 3s, but the only viable ones are, as of now, Giraffa, but I'm not going to talk about him. He's really awful. Some people play him. I don't understand. The next is Armorknight. Fucking demon. What can I say about him? Let's see. 9, 3, 8. Those stats alone make you want to cry in a corner. Now imagine this. You cost 2 gauge and get rid of a monster on your field. Okay. That seems rather a little bit high. A little bit. But it has double attack. Double attack, 3 crit, 9,000 power. What the fuck were they thinking? This is so powerful. And then it has 8,000 defense. Most monsters with fucking high power and high crit have really shit defense. Why does it have 8,000 fucking defense? Throw this bastard in the center. Oh, wait, this is a size 3. You know what you can do? Summon motherfucking size 0s. You know what size 0 you summon with him? You summon Tiger. You know what you can do in a single turn. You can really kill someone in a turn. Here's how. You have to have 2 gauge, a monster you want to fodder off, 2 tigers, and a demon. 5 cards. And 3 gauge. Or even 2. You don't need 3. Just saying. You just have to summon a monster. Maybe it's a free one. Don't care. Kill it off. Pay 2 gauge. Summon demon in the center. Then call 2 tigers. That's 6 damage from demon alone. And then 4 damage from the tigers. That is 10 fucking damage. That is fucking amazing. Let's mention the other one. Armorknight Ifrit. Armorknight fucking Ifrit. 8, 3, 7. Pay 2 gauge. Don't have to get rid of a monster like demon. But its only ability is perfect. Just like fucking demons. Penetrate. This is a fucking another card where you just do so much damage. It's a 3 crit penetrate. You can just put on a hysteric spear and this. 5 crit penetrate. 5 fucking crit. Let's go. Oh my god, that is so much. And then it's 8 plus 5. That's 13. What the fuck are they gonna do when you go 13 to their center? Nothing. Oh my god, is this card good. It's not as good as Demon technically, but it's still a viable, really viable size 3 if you don't want to play Demon. Because Demon's I'm pretty sure a triple R, and this thing's a rare. So, might want to pick up Ifrit's while they're cheap. But the next, I've gotten so off track of the pros, I have to mention some cons now. I know you're upset, so am I. Because this deck is honestly really good. The next con is small draw power. By this, I mean your only fucking draw, it only can be used when you have 5 or less life, aka survival chance. You pay a gauge when you're at 5 or less life, and you draw 2 cards. Hey, that's pretty good. It's a nice one. But here's the problem. Once again, just like nice one, you can only use one per turn. 1 survival chance per turn. You can only use this at 5 or less life. I know you can usually get to there because your opponent could be doing a lot of damage output to you. You only have full nullifiers, which seems like, oh, so it's not so hard to do. But it's only during mainly late game or you're getting the kick shit out of your fucking teeth. So how do you exactly deal with fucking using this? It's decent. It's a good card, but your only form of draw is when you're dying. Why? Why couldn't they just make a nice one? They made a nice one. It's fucking powerful and shit. Why didn't they get up to Danger World? Does Danger World be OP with it? I don't fucking know. But the draw power is so limited. That's all I have to say. The draw power is super limited, like Dragon World. Like you can only use Dragon Genius, which pretty much the same, but it costs you 2 gauge. Or you can use Grimoire, which is honestly better. But I count this as a pro, but at the same time, this could be a con, but I'm not going to do that because it would cause way too much confusion. The next pro is this deck takes a lot of fucking skill to use. You know what I mean by this? You have to think about what damage you can take, what monster you can let go, what plays you should do to deal with your opponent's board, depending on how much damage you can definitely take. There's a number of different possibilities that can happen that you need to account for when playing this deck. because you are limited in your terms of defense. So you have to think about your opponent's deck, what they could be running, what they could do to you, and how you can counter it. But the problem is you can barely counter it because there's no counter removal. Your only way is nullifying, but you cannot have a center. So what can you do in these situations? And that's what you have to build your deck around. What can you do in order to deal with the problems that your deck faces? That's why this deck takes a ton of skill to use. You have to know what to do at every breathing moment you use this deck. So this is a very good deck because you have to think about your plays a lot. And let's talk about the final pro, because this one is absolutely fucking amazing. Armor Reuse! Wow! On pro. This card is fucking awesome. Completely free spell. Grab an Armorknight from your drop zone to your hand. Hey, I spent 2 turns trying to get the resources to destroy demon. I feel so accomplished. Yeah, let me just activate a spell and get it back in my hand for fucking free. Yeah, I can do that. And then I can just bring it back out again. How do you feel? Or, if you play Cerberus, summon Cerberus. Okay. Bring out size 1. I'll destroy it! Okay, Armor Reuse. Get it back. Bring out the same card. Now they can freely use full fire. Oh, my god. Armor Reuse has a number of different uses. Getting back your monsters so you can go for game. Getting back your monsters so you can do certain plays. Getting back your monsters so you can have a demon fodder. Either way, this card is a free fucking monster in your hand. And you know what I said before? Their monsters are mostly fucking free. So you can easily do all these plays again by not costing you a piece of fucking gauge, life, or any of that. And the last con, so we can finally wrap up this really long video. The last con in the deck is it needs a weapon. Now I know that's technically, but weapons are good and shit like that, blah blah. But you need a weapon to do a lot of things, like using Invigorating Breath, use Battle Spirit Unite, use your Impact if you actually play that shit, and so on and so forth. Getting a good damage output, because Triple Formation is a really good damage output in this deck. So weapons are absolutely needed. So what I'm saying here is it's technically not a con, but it's in the con section because it leaves you less room to work with in your deck. Because you need to do this, because it's one of your forms of defense. I know that sounds weird, but it's your way of getting back life because you don't have many nullifiers. And that's why you use Invigorating Breath. So what I'm saying is you're limited in your way of building a deck because you need a weapon in it. So that is the pros and cons of Armorknights. Final verdict. Should be fucking top deck in the format, but it's not because EVO2 is not here. And we don't know everything they're getting, but they might get enough support where the point where they can fuck up everyone. If you're playing Dragon World and you threw something in the center, penetrate you. You didn't throw something into the center? Okay, I'll go for 3 crit, 2 crit, fucking 4 crits or something. Oh my god, like they have so much good damage output. And then if you get, it's just the deck is under-supported, and that is why it cannot win every game. You cannot win every game unless you think about your plays and think like a smart player. Hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to Team Burning Infinity. Put your comments down below what you want to see in the next video of pros and cons next week Wednesday. See you guys later. Joey going out.